Welcome to the last Airgun Show of 2021. In this week's episode I'm going to be taking a look at the MTC King Cobra F2 scope, but before that we join Richard Saunders as he targets grey squirrels on a showery day.
Well, I'm out after squirrels today in the woods, as you can see, and the wood here is grown for lumber. It's a lovely day. It's really cold though, so I'm going to stay mobile and walk around, see if I can't stalk a squirrel too. I do have a couple of feeders up in the woods as well that are full up with peanuts, and they got hides on them, so if necessary I can always go and ambush some squirrels from there. So in terms of hardware, I've got a Walther Rotex RM8 varmint. It's the UC or ultra compact model. 8-shot magazine, bolt action, plenty of shots as well. On top of that I've got an X-Sight 4K Pro, great at night but also very good in the daylight, and I can also record through it, and that's held on with a set of Sportsmatch scope mounts. Well, I saw a squirrel up here, there's quite a few drays around here. Saw a squirrel up there, tried to get in closer for a shot. Got a bit greedy, tried to get too close and spooked it. Been walking around for quite some time now, and it's getting a bit cold. There's a bit of rain in the air as well, believe it or not. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move over to one of my hides on the other side of the woods. I've got a set of sticks set up in there already and a chair, and I filled the peanuts up only a few days ago. So I think I might have some more luck over there. Well, this feeder has seen better days, to be honest. It needs replacing, but I only filled it up a few days ago, and to be honest it's never really without peanuts. I've got a hide 20 meters away, so I'm going to go and sit in there and see if I have any better luck on that. Well, I think I've just about got here in time. It's just started to rain. The trees in here are nice and thick though, so I think I'll stay dry. It's fairly light and it's going to put the squirrels off. It is quite gloomy in here though, so while it's still early I've put the X-Sight onto the night mode, because it just gives you a slightly clearer picture in the dark. So a second, one's just appeared. Well, that didn't take long. One just came in from the right hand side there, straight up the little branch I have leading up to the feeder, and yeah, settled down straight away, and that's the first one down.
The sit and wait approach at the feeder certainly seems to be the way to go today, and it isn't long before Rich is back in action. This squirrel is being a really fidgety customer, but Rich keeps track of it through the scope and waits for it to take a peanut and settle properly before he takes the shot.
Well, that one was a little bit more cautious. He came in and had a little bit of a sniff of the dead one on the floor and poked around for a bit on the ground before he went up to the feeder. And I didn't realise it actually, but there's a jay on the feeder that also he'd come in. Anyway, the squirrel chased that one off, chased him off. Then he came back down the feeder again. I thought I'd missed my chance, but he went back up again, and then he settled on the feeding platform, grabbed a peanut, and that was his lot.
It looked like Rich had missed his chance there, but the attraction of the peanuts is just too much for this squirrel to resist.
Well, that one was definitely put off by the dead ones on the floor. He gave him a really good sniff. He went up and down the tree 2 or 3 times. He was really fidgety, but eventually the peanuts were just too tempting for him, and he settled down again, and yeah, cracked him off again. I think that's what, 3 on the ground now. He obviously wasn't very hungry. And again, that one came in from the right. He was on the floor again, but he obviously found another peanut and he was quite settled, so I decided to take the shot. Inevitably, of course, he stopped right behind a tree, so I just had to move around to the left. I made a little bit of noise with the chair, but it didn't seem to put him off, and yeah, he went down very cleanly. Well, I had to take that shot pretty quickly. He came in on the floor, had a sniff around. He actually had an acorn in his mouth, so he clearly wasn't going to stop around to take a peanut. In actual fact, I think he might have spotted me because he looked right at me, but he was nice and still because of that. Yeah, and cleaned him up again with another headshot. Well, it's been a good couple of hours since that the last squirrel came along. I've had a string of squirrels come to the feeder but not commit to it and run off again. So I think they're probably getting a little bit wary of the action around here. It was definitely a good move to come to the feeder though. I don't know, I had what, 7 or 8 squirrels, something like that. But I've got a feeling that they've had enough now and serve I. So I'm going to pick that one up, top up the feeder and then head home. Thanks for watching.
Richard Saunders using high tactics to beat the weather and the squirrels there. Next up, the MTC King Cobra F2 scope. Back in the autumn, we shot a hunting video showing the MTC King Cobra F2. Now, I wanted to show it in a bit more detail. It's taken me longer than expected, but I finally got around to it. Now, there is a 6-24 by 50 model. This is the 4-16 by 50, which is slightly more compact and retails for £330. This scope is 355mm long and weighs 750 grams. Now, it isn't exactly a small scope, but as you can see, it looks fairly at home on a pretty compact airgun. Now, it's a nice looking scope with good clean lines, and its copper embellishments actually give it quite a classic look that I think a lot of shooters are really going to like. Apart from looking nice, this scope is also very solidly constructed, and you don't need to be afraid about subjecting it to real field use. It's nitrogen purged, waterproof and fog-proof, and it's also shock-proof, so you don't need to worry about using it on recoiling guns. It's also covered by a 1-year warranty which extends to 5 years when registered on the MTC website. I've used MTC scopes for years and the Mamba Light is one of my go-to scopes. I would say that the optical quality of this model is even better. The glass is obviously very good and the sight picture is crisp right to the edges. Now, the 30mm tube combines with the multi-coated lenses and that large 50mm objective lens to deliver a nice bright sight picture even in fairly poor light conditions. As its name suggests, the King Cobra F2 is a second focal plane scope and it's equipped with MTC's SCB2 reticle. Now, I reckon it's just about the perfect thickness for precise shooting, and its design offers plenty of aim points without looking cluttered or confusing, and the result is fast, accurate shot placement. The ocular focusing ring enables you to get the reticle pin sharp for your eye, and the central element of the reticle can also be illuminated using the outer dial on the left-hand turret. There are 6 levels of brightness, giving you improved visibility against darker backgrounds. Although shooters who do a lot of long-range work may prefer the more powerful model, I really like the 4 to 16 times zoom range. I've had it set on 10 times for most of my shooting, but on 6 times you get a really nice wide field of view for things like close range ratting, and at 16 times it's plenty powerful enough for the longer sort of shooting that I do, usually off of a bipod. Now the grooved zoom dial turns really smoothly, but with enough resistance to prevent it from ever drifting. The dial on the inside of the left-hand turret is the parallax wheel, which turns smoothly to bring the target into sharp focus. Now it focuses out to infinity and right down to just 10 meters, which makes it perfect for airgun use. The windage and elevation turrets are great and can easily be reset to 0. Now you lift them up to unlock them to make adjustments, and each click amounts to 1 centimetre of adjustment at 100 metres. Now, I make a big fuss about turrets that have positive stops, and these ones are very positive, which is great. Once you've got 0 set, they then snap back down very securely to ensure that there's no risk at all of accidental adjustment. An extended sunshade and oversized parallax wheel are available as optional extras, but this scope does come with a few handy extras included. Now they include a battery for the illuminated reticle, a lens cloth, and a set of screw-in magnetic flip-up lens covers, the rear one of which incorporates a 2 times lens element for clearer viewing of the parallax scale. So that's the MTC King Cobra F2 in its 4 to 16 by 50 guise. Now MTC Optics already has a great reputation for delivering brilliant optical performance at sensible prices, and I've always had a great deal of faith in them. This scope takes that optical quality a step further while still maintaining very good value for money. Now I think it's a brilliant go anywhere scope for serious airgun hunters, but it still has the refinement for target shooting. It is another great addition to MTC's proven lineup. I'm afraid that's all we have time for in this week's episode, but we'll be back again in a fortnight. As ever, if you aren't a member of the BASC, do have a look at their website and check out some of the benefits that you could be taking advantage of through Airgun membership. Now finally, and most importantly, may I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy New Year from myself and the rest of the Airgun Show team.
Don't miss the award-winning Airgun Shooter magazine. It's packed with hunting features, reviews, tactics and insight to help you become an even more successful shooter. Get your copy today in shops or online.